Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fan Behavior. I'm Zoe with Hannah. What a race.
Wow.
You know what this calls for?
What?
Nico
Hulkenberg. Wow, that was a really sad reenactment, but
we needed that.
yeah.
Daniel's doing that somewhere.
Mhm.
Wow. What a race. Can't wait to talk all about it. That was a race. We've been waiting for a race like this.
We haven't, honestly, too. One of my thoughts was, like, for anyone whose first race this was after they
Yes.
saw the F1 movie, like, I'm
Yes.
so glad for them because what a race to start on. It, because they're not always this way, Don't we know it?
Definitely not. So much to get into. Anything, non F1 race specific we want to, like, anything that happened, this week we wanted to touch on. I feel like I didn't go on my trip.
That's true.
Spoiler
Zoe's not on
alert.
her trip. There was a
Potential
fear of a
weather
storm,
issue.
so she postponed.
Not that it would have mattered. I would have been here anyway.
Yeah.
But so that's happening in a couple weeks, which is fine. It's all good. But should we just jump right in?
Yes, but just 1 second,
Mhm.
because before we get into today's episode, we want to let you know that tickets are on sale now for the Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix. Don't miss your chance to experience the thrill of watching F1 cars race down the Las Vegas Strip November 20th through the 22nd, with a variety of general admission, grandstand, and hospitality options. After delivering the most overtakes of any race last season, we cannot wait to see what happens this year. Plus, F1 Academy is coming to Vegas for the 7th and final round of their season. If you loved F1 the movie, you can also explore actual filming locations across Vegas during race week. Secure your spot now at f1lasvegasgp.com.
If you loved Silverstone, you will also love Vegas.
Facts.
Vegas always delivers.
Plus,
the
there's
goods.
just something about a night race.
There is something about a night
and
race.
being able to wear a jacket.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
jackets.
Yes. So yeah, make sure to get your tickets. And this is not like part of the ad read. This is a separate thing, but they have this really cool ticket package right now called a Grand Prix Trio, where you can buy, like, the package includes each day. It's either, so like you get 3 different ticket types: GA, grandstand, and hospitality. So every
cool.
day you get to experience the track from a different location, which I think is very cool.
That is
and
cool.
I feel like we always talk about how it's, like, very fun to experience a race weekend from a variety of different, like, vantage points and places. So if that's something you're interested in,
Do you get to pick the day you do
I don't
each
know.
one?
I don't know. I would look into that. But if
That's
that's something
cool, though.
interesting, you can look up that too. I think that's fun.
Love it.
Okay, let's get into the news of the week. So obviously lots of Max to Mercedes rumors.
Yep.
Really ramped up this week. Max looked absolutely miserable in the media day.
I do love those photos.
He just was disassociating.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I just think it's funny because he must just go, guys, I already told you I'm not going to tell you anything.
right.
But glad you're all here.
Yeah, exactly. I think what Max has basically said is he wants to stay with the team. He's not fully, it feels like to me, outright denying that there's a chance. I think there is probably conversation. Does that mean it's actually going to turn into anything? We'll have to wait and see. I think the word on the street is that in order for Max to activate his exit clause, he needs to be 4th in the championship by after, I think, Hungary, which I think is right before the summer break. Now, I think currently he's 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think if Max wants to get out of any contract, he probably could find a way. I do think it's a little silly. I do think for Max, he can wait for the regulation change, wait to see how everything shakes out, wait to see what teams are doing well. Maybe Red Bull figures it out, maybe not, but you at least give yourself a chance to see. The risk obviously is, okay, then George signs a contract. Do they get George out? I don't think it's going to be Kimi. But anyway, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. Then, of course, it feels like every time Max ends up having these rumors, then he comes out and he gets pole position, and it's like, why would he ever want to leave? But then obviously the race was sort of very all over the place for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Would you want to see him leave?
Not really. I mean, I think it would be fine if he did. I think it would be, for me, I think it's the idea of Max moving to Mercedes is not shocking per se, but it would be as wild to me as when Lewis changed to Ferrari. I love the idea. I mean, he's said that he wants to start and end Formula One with one team. I think I heard that. Very Patrick Mahomes of him. which I appreciate. I like that kind of loyalty idea. I do worry about like the team, you know, what's going on in the background. We still don't really know. We're never really going to know. And I think just from the team as a whole, I always worry about that second driver's seat because there's just always, he just wants to show up and do the thing. And there's just always chatter because of all of the outstanding, you know, the seat and the team and blah, 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 whatever.
A lot of drama.
A lot of drama. And he's just so anti, which I respect. So I don't know. I kind of don't think it's going to happen, but it's not like I'm at this point with all the conversation. It's not like I'm going to be shocked. I think the biggest shock would be if he changed teams and didn't go to Mercedes.
Totally. I feel like if there's a change to be had right now, it's to Mercedes. There is a part of me that is very interested in seeing Max work with Toto.
Sure.
And
with Kimi.
And with Kimi, and a part of me very interested to see what would happen to Red Bull without Max.
I know.
Because a Red Bull, I mean, that's the other thing is I feel like Red Bull, you know, Christian Horner, they have been skating by and sort of able to avoid real heat because of Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have Max Verstappen in that seat, Red Bull is nowhere.
Right.
I mean, unless you get whoever, but like, you know, they would really, I would be curious to see what would happen to that team.
Yeah, it would really change the
if he had to leave. And what driver would really want to go to Red Bull at that point? I don't know that you could really attract a super top driver. Christian did, he was asked about, you know, if Max were to leave, who would you want? He says Oscar Piastri.
Yeah, but, and
I don't
see
that
I
really
don't
happening.
really see that happening either. Especially not anytime soon.
Yeah. And so anyway, that part of it really intrigues me because I just am curious how that would all shake out. And the reality is, you know, a lot of people talking about George is doing great. Why would you ever replace him? And I agree. George has been doing great, but it's Max Verstappen. You can't not take Max. If that's an available option, if he wants to go, if it looks like it could happen, you just have to do it.
Yeah, well, and Toto passed one, you know.
Exactly.
Toto lost that opportunity once
Max,
before. He's not going to do it again.
People talk about Lewis, you know, Lewis replacing Carlos. And again, it's even though Lewis is past his prime and he's 40 and whatever, you got to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
And Max is in his prime. He's 27 years old. Like, you got to do it.
Yeah.
So I would never fault Mercedes for choosing Max over George. It's a tough go if you're George Russell, if that's what ends up happening, but I completely understand it.
Yeah, I do too.
I was thinking about this. Maybe I think the only two drivers, well, you could throw Oscar in there too, but I feel like Lando, Oscar, and Charles Leclerc are kind of the only drivers where you would really have to, in terms of driving ability and then also just like the marketability and the like impact that driver has on the team. I don't know that they would replace those drivers with Max. I can't imagine them ever doing that. But everyone else is basically fair game. Now, could that change? Of course. But I don't know. We also got the news. We got this last week, but I don't think we talked about it, that Kimi was going to have a 3-place grid penalty for this race, given his incident with Max in Austria. Tough for Kimi. In practice, Ollie gets another 10-second grid penalty for red flag infringement.
What was the red flag for?
He was speeding in the pit entry.
No, I knew that, but what was the red flag?
Gabby. Gabby went off. Tough. 10-place grid penalty and 4 penalty points, which is really tough. But this is Ollie's second red flag infringement this season. Like, you gotta clean, and he did really well in qualifying. He got into Q3. I mean, that's
big bummer.
That's tough. Anything else from pre-race before we get to quali?
Well, no pre-race. No, I mean, well, the only thing I was going to talk about was the Williams taxi drive.
Oh yeah.
Clip that was very funny. But the best part was that it took Carlos like a year and a half to realize Jenson Button was driving the car.
Of course it did.
That's really it. I just wanted, that was my only, and then we can talk about the
I also
Gridwalk before.
Yeah. Well, and obviously we'll talk about quali, but I also like the video of Kimi doing the practice pit stop.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, you haven't seen that? And he was just like, do I run? Like, where do I stand? Like, he just was he just like did not know what was going on. It was very cute.
Love him.
Okay, let's get to qualifying.
Okay.
So Franco, I mean, Oof. A lot of rumors actually that this is his last race.
And I didn't know that until during the race when Crofty was saying that. That's crazy.
There have been rumors that Valtteri could potentially replace him.
I heard that. And I wonder if, because I know he's sort of like maybe soft launch hinted at being the Cadillac driver. And part of me wonders if like it's Cadillac is working with Alpine in some way to like loan Valtteri for a little while. Like if that's real, like to loan him so he can get some time in the car again before the next season starts.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think he, like, being the Mercedes reserve driver, I think he also, because he's Mercedes reserve, he's also the reserve of like other teams as well. And I don't think he is the Alpine reserve driver, but it doesn't really matter. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and then I'm just like, does Doohan come back? Yeah, it's just wild.
It's been a tough go for Franco. I mean, he didn't even start the race. I know. Because of a problem with the car, which wasn't his fault. But like, still, pit lane start because of it's a great reminder, and not to pat myself on the back, but last year I did say, like, we are so quick to be like,
goldfish memory.
This person is amazing or this person sucks. And like everyone, this is the same thing happened with Nick de Vries after one race in Williams. Everyone was like, get that guy in a Formula One car now. Yeah. And it's just, it doesn't always work out. And just because someone does well for a certain amount of time doesn't mean that they're going to last forever in Formula One or that it's sustainable, vice versa. Like, it's really hard to make it in Formula One. And I just don't know that Franco is... It's really tough. It's really tough. Yeah. And it's tough for Alpine, obviously. When you replace a driver, you want there to be a noticeable upgrade. And I think Red Bull is kind of in that situation too. Like, you make this big decision to change things around, and then you're kind of like, was that worth it? Yeah. So anyway, Lewis almost got out in Q1. I was about to fly out to Silverstone, and I was going to like, I don't even know what. I was like, what the hell? But got through. So we had Franco out, Nico. We'll get back to Nico. Lance, Gabby, Liam out in Q1. Q2, we had Esteban out, Alex, Isaac, Yuki, and Carlos.
Yeah, and it seemed like Alex had like a setup change request in between because he was like, we made it so hard on ourselves, that's my bad. Like,
I also
totally different car.
I saw Yuki lost power on his last lap,
which is like the perfect time to lose power.
Awesome.
I think.
So that was good for him.
I'm just like so
upset
that someone we love is in that seat right now.
I know. It's like, it's just so hard because he was doing so well in that V car.
I know.
He was doing so well.
I know.
And it's just all gone to shit for him.
I know.
And it really sucks.
Yeah.
It really sucks. Isaac, avoid the Red Bull.
He was looking slay in that Pepe Jeans British flag sweater.
Always. He always, God.
The swag is off the
video,
charts.
I think you saw it. But when he did the sorting hat, Hufflepoof.
Oh, Hufflepuff. He goes, oh,
what's
Hufflepuff?
He said poof. He first said poof.
No, I know.
Yeah, Hufflepuff. What's
corrected
that?
himself.
So me and
he
Yuki
really needs to catch up on his Harry Potter.
Would be in the same house.
Same.
Oh yeah, you're Hufflepuff.
But didn't you change?
I did retake the test a few months ago, and I was Slytherin with the new upgrade, but I don't know. It doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. I've aged out of Harry Potter in terms of like going to school. So okay. Anyway. Q3, so it was battle for pole. Who's going to get it? Seemed like a lot of people were in the mix. Obviously the McLarens, Max, Lewis seemed like he could potentially be in the mix. George, obviously, always kind of up there, but Max Verstappen.
Hell of a lap.
He just finds, it's not even like, oh my God, it's just like, he just does it. He just figures it out. He finds a way all the time. He's inevitable. Yep. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, my favorite was afterwards when he got pole. Crofty's like, GP looks impassive, and he was like going through everyone. But yeah, GP he's like Oscar in that way, Got
to keep it cool, and you have to. If you're Max Verstappen's race engineer, you have to be just cool as a cucumber.
Understood.
Yeah, you got to keep it. You because you can't match the fire. It's like you either need if your driver is like an Oscar Piastri or maybe even like a Lewis Hamilton, the race engineer can be a little bit more expressive because that's what your driver needs, right? But then if the opposite is true, Yuki, Max, whoever, got to keep it cool.
Got to keep it
cool. Got to keep it cool. So Oscar gets P2. Lando P3, George P4, Lewis P5. Lewis kind of had a little bit of a mess up, and I don't know. He could have been on the front row, I think. But coulda, woulda, shoulda. So Max's 44th pole, equaling Sebastian Vettel's amount of poles, which is pretty crazy considering, again, Max is only 27 years old, I believe. I'm pretty sure. I think he's 28 this year. So I mean, it's just, again, it's like, what is there to say?
Yeah.
Shout out to Ollie, obviously, getting into Q3. Shout out to Pierre.
Yep.
Who else made it into Q3?
Fernando.
And
Kimi.
And Kimi. Yes, Kimi. Fernando, man, what a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy. Also, did you see our friend Emma met Lance?
That wasn't real.
Was it not?
Was that real?
I'm pretty sure it was real.
Was it actually? It looked like it was photoshopped.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was real.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I just kind of giggled and I moved along.
I think it was real.
Holy shit. Sorry to the children in the cars.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was real. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. I think so. So, anyway. Okay. Moving on. Anything else from quali that you want to touch on?
No, quali after Q1, quali was kind of meh.
Yeah, I mean, it just ended up being not what we thought it would be. It was fun. Obviously, I always love when you have multiple people that could be on pole. That's always great.
Yeah.
When you never really know. All right, pre-race, Gridwalk time.
This is a Gridwalk I never miss.
I was yelling at my dad. My dad was upstairs like doing it on his computer, and I was just gum downstairs. Like, this is like hilarious. So we get Tony Hawk.
Iconic.
With a skateboard.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't go anywhere without it.
That was funny. Then we go straight to Tom Holland, who is in mid handshake with Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, I gasped when I saw it was Tom Holland.
Martin didn't care about it, and Tom Holland, just love him.
Yeah,
love him.
My favorite too was that two friends of the pod, M. Selleck and Nate Saunders, were walking behind, and I literally squealed, and you can see her go, "Oh, it's Tom Holland," and Nate just stares down the barrel of the camera, and it was one of the best things I've ever seen.
My mom is sitting there with us, and every time I'm like, I'm doing it fast, but I'm kind of shouting people out as I see them, and every time my mom goes, "What? What? What?"
I love your mom.
And I'm like,
"Who?
Keep up!"
Yeah.
Like, she couldn't. She just was like so lost.
Yeah.
And then he was just blowing by people. I think I saw Olivia Wilde.
Oh, yeah, you said
I think I saw Ed Westwick.
Oh, he was definitely there.
I saw somebody else that I can't remember. Oh, this girl from she's in House of the Dragon and also the show Sirens. He talks to Damson Idris, which is great. A little F1 promo.
Hannah Waddingham.
And
now let me tell you, that is how you respond when Martin Brundle approaches you on the grid. Her and Sam Ryder. I love Sam Ryder so much. He just makes me so happy. But Hannah,
I said the same thing.
Is exactly. I literally wrote, "This is exactly how he should be greeted." She bowed a little. She goes, "It's such an honor to meet you." He's just like, "What do you even mean?
Can I hug you?" Yeah.
Oh, it was perfect.
My parents were kind of like, "Whoa," and I was like, "No, this is the exact reaction that you need to have. This is what I would do.
This is exactly how I would react."
Martin Brundle. Yes. This is, bow down.
Yep.
Jackie Stewart, and Jackie is always, he's pointing out, look at that person, talk to that person.
Over there, Martin. Go over there.
He's moving and grooving at his age. Like, he is on it. Like, I have so much respect for Jackie, obviously, but like, he's just always on it.
Yeah. Idris Elba.
Then, Martin's trying to work his way through, and he's pushing through, and he's asking people what the conditions of the track are, and Fernando gave him the okay sign.
Can I also just give a little bit of a hot take? Like, I don't need a driver interview on the Gridwalk unless there is not enough celebrity,
Sure.
If there's no one to pull from, go ahead.
Yeah.
But we talk to the drivers all the time.
Sure. I guess if there's like a very specific question, like you're wanting the answer to.
And I know sometimes you have to fill the time because the grid is sparse with people that are notable.
Yes.
Today it wasn't. And so when he was running around trying to find a driver, I'm like, "No, Martin, turn around, find a celeb. It's fine." They did I hate when they do the interview during the driver's parade.
Oh.
And they were interviewing Lewis, of all people, who is like he's one of the people who is like so intentional about the driver's parade and like making sure he's waving, and I don't know.
And also especially for Silverstone, don't put them all in a freaking bus.
Please
space them out.
Yeah, put them in some cool
I mean,
just stopped doing it.
I know it's kind of rainy, but like still. Anyway,
Vin Diesel was there.
Vin Diesel was there.
Yeah,
yes,
which was fun.
And Tom Felton. He wasn't on the Gridwalk,
yes.
but he was in the garage.
And Chuck Bass was there. I
And
texted Tasha when he came on screen. I was
yeah.
like, oh my God, not Chuck Bass being there.
Anya Taylor-Joy was also there.
Yep. Rebecca Ferguson.
Yep. So just if someone came, I mean, I guess you would say Max. If he asked you who are you here supporting
Max.
today, you say Max.
Yeah.
I always feel like they're kind of always like I feel like most people don't really. I guess Tom was very much I'm here to support Lewis, but I feel like they always kind of dance around the question.
Well, I think part of it is that they either don't know or there's a driver that they prefer, but they were invited by another team, so I'm here with XYZ, blah blah blah.
Red Bull, so I gotta.
Also, Becky Hill did the national anthem, and love her. She does a lot of the Love Island UK soundtrack.
Got it.
So I've become very.
It's interesting how they don't have the drivers stand. You know how a lot of races they'll have the home drivers stand like separate from the rest of the drivers. They don't do that they didn't do that for Silverstone. I wondered if part of that is because like, well, there's only, I mean, because I was like, if they did that, is Alex just considered, I mean, you know what I mean?
I think so.
He's just considered tie.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess that's the racing flag he drives under, so you kind
It's
of
not a home
technically have
racer.
to. But
Yeah.
I always hate that for him.
I
Because
know.
I'm just like, I know he made his decision and like he kind of had to do that for financial reasons to get his,
but technically it's
he
a home
just
race
kind
one
of
too.
gets sort of, he's not a part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, in his heart, he probably is.
Yeah.
But
Well, and let's speak to, I mean, if we're going to joke that the Chinese GP is Oscar's home race, I think let's give Alex Silverstone too.
well, China, Monaco, Oscar got all those,
That's a fine
through
point.
adoption and
Yeah.
such. Okay. Anything else before the race?
Fantastic Gridwalk.
Okay,
Loved every
so
moment of it.
right away we start out with chaos because drivers are like, we're actually going to start the race. We're going to pit for slick tires because they all came out to the track on intermediates, so that's the tires they had on. And so some decide to go pit, some decide to stay out.
I
So
thought that was a crazy call.
you have. My dad thought so too. My dad was like, what
I know
the
it's
hell's
hit and
going on?
miss,
It's hit or miss,
but
and that's the thing. And it didn't seem.
I think it was who pitted that like shocked me.
I also think it was when they pit, like pitting at the very beginning didn't seem to be the right call, but pitting like a few laps in seemed to be the right call because like Lance and some other people just pitted it for like the softs at the right time, got ahead a bit, then they transitioned to the inters at the right time. It was just all, again, timing wise.
Yeah.
We had the Liam and Esteban incident. I was like, Liam, that was not Esteban's fault.
Was it not?
No.
Okay.
No, it was not Esteban's fault. Like Esteban couldn't go anywhere. Esteban was just driving. He had Yuki to his left. Liam tried. I don't think Liam saw him, but it was not Esteban's fault.
Yeah.
Like it was not great, but tough for Liam.
Yeah, sorry. This was his first time at Silverstone, right? Or maybe, at least in F1. I don't know if he's raced there for other stuff.
Franco, again, I kind of didn't really have any word about what happened to him, but he just didn't start the race. I mean, there was a car problem, but tough.
Bummer.
Gabby retired, also tough.
Yeah.
Just spinning out. We had the Oscar Max battle. Whew, intense.
Before that, though, we did have a Kevin Magnussen cameo, which I was very excited about that.
We did. We'll get back to that. But yeah, Oscar versus Max, it was just like, yikes. I was really, really stressed out. And then this is just kind of where things get like very chaotic because it's like.
It kicks off with George saying, it's raining, brilliant. I'm like, is it though? Or are you sweating? Is your water bottle leaking?
Well, I think he was mostly pissed because they had started that race on slick tires. Bad call from George.
Yeah.
So there's rain falling down. They bring out the safety car. Chaos. And please, fill in if I'm forgetting anything. We have Isaac spinning it. Isaac was like, he came out of nowhere. I think it was Kimmy. He appeared out of nowhere. It's like,
well, the spray was
terrible.
Bad.
The spray was terrible. The visibility is terrible. And I was saying this, like, they've got to figure out a way. I don't know. I'm not like a, aerodynamicist or whatever. I don't pretend to have any of that kind of knowledge, but there has to be a way to create tires, wet weather tires that don't create that much spray.
I know
they're going very quickly, whatever, but it just seems like that almost is way worse than the track itself.
Yeah.
Like the track is actually not that wet, but the visibility is so terrible. So it was a tough race for the rookies. It was just like one rookie after another was falling away.
Yeah, not good.
And again, just forgive me if it's all kind of a little bit out of order, but this is how the race was.
Well, and I think there's a lot of people like, why aren't they red flagging it?
Yes.
But because the rain, I think Crofty was saying this, and I kind of, for one, I'm glad that they didn't red flag it just because from a time perspective, but also because they were still going around the track, it definitely helped like dry out the track instead of keeping like stopping everything and then just like letting it just stay wet. Anyway, I think I was happy with the decision to do safety car instead.
Yeah, I agree. So then we have the big, kind of moment, the big catalyst of the race, so to speak, was the Oscar Piastri safety car infringement issue.
Which I still don't really understand.
Basically,
so I hope that you do.
So, safety car is about to come in. The safety car brakes going in. Oscar decides to brake very suddenly because obviously the safety car is going in. So you're trying to bunch up the pack. And you're also trying to slow everybody down so that their tires get colder. That's what they were saying too. This is what George also did in Canada. You want the cars behind you to have to slow down so their tires get a little bit colder and you have a better getaway. The issue is, and this is why he got a penalty, Oscar braked suddenly going from 218 kilometers an hour to 52 kilometers an hour.
So he stopped.
So he essentially stopped. Dangerous.
Can't do that. Yeah,
dangerous.
Yeah.
Now, again, people were comparing this to the George thing. And yes, George did stop, but it was not to the degree to which Oscar stopped.
Yeah.
In my belief, and again, I'm not like an expert, but I do think he deserved a penalty. I don't know that he deserved a 10-second penalty.
Yeah.
I think a 5-second penalty was probably more appropriate for the situation, but you can't stop that aggressively.
That's a really big difference.
And that creates the, it creates like what happened, not to keep bringing this up. I feel like I always bring this up, but the Lance Daniel thing, when they bunched up and Lance ran into the back of Daniel, like when you brake aggressively, it forces everybody else behind you to brake and then people can crash into each other. And so,
well, and it was crazy because when you actually see it, like usually when they're slowing down, you can tell that everyone behind them, but like Max almost like
he had to
got
avoid
ahead of him. Yeah.
So, I think it was a bit of an unforced error from Oscar because I get it. I understand the strategy, the decision behind wanting to do that. And you're thinking to yourself, this is going to benefit, this is going to help me against Max and whatever. It's a calculated risk, but he did too much and he didn't need to do that.
He took 200 kilometers off his speed.
And also you're in the lead of the race and you cost yourself the race win by doing that. It was just a risk that I don't think was worth taking. And I know he was really upset about it and we can get to that, but it just it was a bit silly from him in my view.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
I don't think he needed to do that, and I love Oscar, obviously everybody knows that, but again, we can love our drivers and also talk about when they do things that they probably shouldn't have done. And this was a situation where I felt like,
believe me, I've had to do that a lot.
Same. Trust me. So anyway, it was a bummer. It was a real bummer because that 10 seconds, it was just a guarantee that he was not going to win the race. I mean, it just, given all the safety cars and the issue, he was just never going to make that back up. Max did though, right after that safety car,
Crazy.
He had a bit of a spin. So in a way it worked for Oscar. He did cool down Max's tires and Max fell back, from wherever he was, second to like 10th or something. He was not he was sliding all over the place.
Yeah, he
Max.
was. It was not good.
Absolutely crazy. Kimi out.
I do also just want to give a moment for Toto's driving cap.
Yes. He was really playing the part.
Jackie Stewart.
So good job. We also, I had a bet with my dad. I said, will Charles Leclerc call out Brian by name on the radio in the race? Yes or no? And we didn't hear it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I said yes. My dad said no. But I was waiting for Charles Leclerc had a tough race.
Yeah.
I mean, just a lot of.
Well, when he just yeeted, I couldn't even figure out where he ended up on the track. I'm like, are you at the start finish line? Like, where are you?
And he said water got in his visor and he couldn't see.
Yeah. He was like, and then I don't know the context of this, and I know it didn't come online. I just saw it on Instagram, maybe Threads or something. But, well, first of all, it says Ryan. I'm like, guys, it's Brian. Let's edit this because that's incorrect. But he said, why are you and I think it's from this race. Why are you asking me all these questions? You didn't tell me safety car is ending. He said, yes, I did. Safety car is ending now. Like, are you just covering your ass now? He goes, I didn't get the message, so be careful to the radio. Now, I don't know if that was from this race or not, but it was worth.
I mean, it sounds like it would be from this race. So Kimi got out. So again, another rookie bites the dust. Yuki gets.
Was Ollie the only rookie that finished?
Yeah. Which that seemed like it was gonna be dicey there for a second.
Yeah, it did.
Yuki gets a penalty. Yay! When it was like
for
Oscar
causing a collision with Esteban?
Was it? Yeah, was it Esteban or was it Ollie? Maybe Ollie.
Oh, maybe Ollie. I don't remember.
But
I just
it was
rolled
like
my eyes and moved on.
Oscar penalty, Yuki penalty. You know, Lewis was fighting his
hopes
way
and
through
dreams
the
in the
field.
toilet.
Yeah, it was just like, this is a great day for me.
Mm-hmm.
So then the whole debate was, you know, do we pit for softs? Do we stay on intermediates? What's the call here? George is willing to take the gamble. Then George spins out. It's like, oops, maybe not the call.
Yeah.
But then it did get to the point where everyone was pitting. And it was getting increasingly more and more like, is Nico Hülkenberg about to get his first podium? Now,
so
at first it was Lance. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Are we going to get a Lance 12 podium?
Uh-huh. Which honestly, I would have been excited for that as well. It's just not as...
I don't know if I would have been excited. Here's the thing I felt. And like, this is... I had to work through a lot of emotions with this Nico Hülkenberg penalty.
Yes.
I mean, not
podium.
Penalty, podium. Because, and I was saying this to my parents, when a outside of the box driver gets a podium or a race win or something like that happens, you know, 19th to 3rd, it's just like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I am happy for him and breaking the streak and all the things, like, yes. But in my head, heart, whatever, I'm also like, why couldn't my driver have done this?
Of course.
Why couldn't Yuki have gone and gotten to the podium? Like, you know, that's what is always hard, is like when you see you're just like, it is possible for some craziness to happen, but why can't the craziness happen for me?
Yeah.
It's a selfish thing, obviously.
Of course. That's okay. Being selfish is fine.
So, and I also really wanted Lewis Hamilton on the podium. I was like begging for Lewis Hamilton. I really, really wanted that, but it was weird. Like, I felt like Lewis was about to really pass Nico.
And at one point, he was only like a second behind. He was like almost in DRS.
He was in DRS.
And then he was all of a sudden like 6-7 seconds behind him. And I was like, okay. Yeah. I don't know what happened.
He was in DRS for a few laps and looked like he could. I was like, okay, he's going to pass him.
And then his softs just gave out.
Well, then that's still when he was on intermediates. Then he dropped back like a couple seconds. And then he pitted for softs. And then Nico pitted for
But
whatever.
even then, I feel like they were close. Maybe not. Maybe it was before. Anyway, I was just surprised because it just felt like within like half a lap, all of a sudden Lewis was trailing.
I agree. But I mean, obviously, like,
I'm thrilled
200
for
plus
I'm wearing
podiums
green for the occasion.
Or, I mean, 200 plus race starts, no podium,
Yeah.
all of these chances, opportunities, you know, what is delayed is not denied.
Amen.
That is unless you are Zoe Jewell's favorite race.
That's true. And I do have a little bit, and we don't have to, we can wait till the very end, but I do have a little bit of beef with how the podium celebration was handled.
Okay, we'll save that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, like, so exciting for him. For stake, I mean,
it's amazing.
You know, it's crazy.
It's their first podium since 2012.
Yes, and how badly they've done this. I mean, they've been pretty much the worst team, or, you know, one of the worst teams this season, but they've actually done pretty well considering.
But yeah, I mean, definitely last season was a rough go.
Right, but just, I mean, absolutely incredible. Also, you had K-Mag in the state garage, and I posted this on TikTok, like the enemies to lovers thing that we've had with Kevin and Nico, going from Suck My Balls Mate to in his garage rooting him on to a podium. Like, this is absolute cinema.
You just love to see it.
You love to see it. Also,
I miss Kevin.
Gabby had the sweetest. He gets on the radio to Nico when he's doing his out or his in lap. He said, "Nico, it's Gabby. You have no idea how happy I am for you. You're an absolute legend."
Oh, that's so nice.
I know. And then he came out.
So sweet.
He came out in the, like, he was. I saw him like in his jeans, like, because he obviously changed after his DNF, like celebrating with Nico. But it was really sweet to see how happy. Obviously, he was happy for him to get that podium. Just really, and like my mom was saying, she's like, this is what, you know, makes watching Formula One so fun, is like, you see, okay, this person wins a lot, blah, 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 blah. But every once in a while, you do get the special moment. Yeah. You know, and it's somebody out there has been a Nico Hülkenberg fan
For
forever
years.
and has been, waiting for this moment, and they finally have it.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It
I'm
genuinely
thrilled
is.
for him.
Lando Norris wins the British Grand Prix. I feel like we haven't really talked about him, but
Yeah.
again, it's like he was in the right place at the right time. Obviously, the Oscar penalty. Lando has the lead of the race, but he did an incredible job to be in that position, and he was you could tell this really meant a lot to him.
Yeah.
Like he was really, really happy to win. Obviously,
I'm glad both of his parents were there.
His parents, loved to see his mom and dad there.
His mom
was
so
just so happy. She was like, "I need to see your eyes."
Yeah.
You see that she lifted up his helmet or his visor, but yeah, he was overjoyed. And I mean, for Lando this season to have won Monaco and Silverstone, two really big ones for him, and obviously in Formula One, that's a huge deal. So congrats to Lando.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing job. And again, like we said, it just takes a couple races for Lando to get right back in that title fight. And he is, they're not far apart at all. Oscar, not thrilled.
I've never seen fury in his eyes.
Didn't love Oscar asking to switch positions. I understand.
Oh, I didn't even hear him do that.
He was basically saying on the radio, if you think that the penalty call was wrong, let me switch positions so that, if I guess his point was if it's right, I'll still get the 10-second, I'll, fall back or what, I guess, but I don't know, that actually doesn't make sense because he did service penalty in the pit stop. So anyway, he was kind of wanting to get the win back, but I didn't. It's okay, you know. And again, in his mind, he maybe doesn't know exactly how it went down or the severity of what he did, or but he was that's the most upset and the most peeved off I've ever seen Oscar.
Well, and just physically, and Jensen called it out too, but just when he was standing there, I was just oh, he's mad.
Yeah. He's him saying I'm not going to say too much because I'm going to get myself in trouble. I was say it.
Yeah.
Because he'd have
say
something
it with your
quippy.
chest, Oscar.
But
well, that's the problem is that he has such one-liners.
Yes.
That he really could get himself.
He has
into
good
trouble.
emotional control though. He does manage to keep it all together.
Yeah.
At least for the most part. But yeah, I mean, again, and it's one of those things where it's just I wonder from his perspective, and I'll be curious to hear what he has to say in the post race interview and stuff. But part of me wonders if he's also just upset at himself. I shouldn't have done that, and I kind of cost myself that win.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do that, I would be the winner of this race.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes. And he shouldn't have done it. That's how I feel. But anyway, he was just not thrilled, and it was also just so the cool down room, seeing Nico in there was just what
I know. Well, so a couple things there. One, during his post race interview, which was so fun. I was oh yeah, I've literally never seen him in an interview before because I don't watch a lot of the media pen stuff, and then I've seen him in some social clips and stuff. I was that's fun. Zach Brown walking through the background was crazy. Full well what's going on right now. Okay, we get it. Your team. He
was going to do
1 and 2. We understand.
Broken rib time.
Just move. But it cracked me up that Nico didn't bring his crash helmet in, and Lando had to bring it for him because he's new here. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's first day of school. But then when they're on the podium, and I get it, it's a big day for McLaren, but also Nico spraying champagne alone.
Yeah.
Excuse me, guys, 200 something races or whatever, almost 200 races with no podium.
Over, yeah.
Spray this man with champagne.
Yep. I know. I was come on, let's.
What are the three of you doing in the corner?
Well, Oscar was having a rough go of it. He wasn't,
Well, that's honestly, that's why I'm so celebrate with the guy who's made history today.
I know. And he said that. He was let's focus on, I think he said that in the interview.
He did.
Happy for Nico, and
yeah.
yada, yada, yada. But yeah, just a wild race.
Yeah.
Wild race. You gotta love Silverstone.
Yeah, it was a good one.
You gotta love Silverstone. I mean,
I do.
It just always delivers. It always delivers something great. And
because I also just love the spotty rain.
Yeah,
it's
rain,
not a full wet race, but it's so back and forth.
The gamble. Yeah. You love the gamble. Do you go on softs? Do you not?
Mm-hmm.
Chef's kiss. And it sucks. Maybe we all want a week off. We have 2 weeks off.
I know.
No F1, which is I don't know if we need 2 weeks off, but whatever.
I think it's good. We just need to take it when we've got it, you know?
Of course, yeah.
Just
Enjoy the
little
breaks, but
siestas.
yeah, siestas. Okay. Anything else from the race want to touch on before we get to the fan info and then the questions?
I don't think so.
All right, fan info. Do you want to start?
Sure. My fan is Hulk, and then the Gridwalk was just, it was perfect.
Yeah. My fan, speaking of Nico, was the video of his daughter. Did you see the video of his daughter naming all of the F1 drivers? I was like, you go, girl.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just fun, too, because she, like, knows them
she
all.
said, Kimmy Lawson. And her mom was like, no. And he's like, Kimmy Antonelli. And then she said Isaac Hajar's name. Very cute, too. She's like, Hajar.
It is a fun one to say.
So good for her for knowing. I always reminiscent of kind of how I would have been as a young kid, like wanting to know everyone's name. And like, I'm just curious. I would be curious to know how she knows. Like, do they quiz her about it? Does she just, is it just like from osmosis and just being around, she gets all their names? But like, I don't know, that's a lot of names to learn if you're like a young, I don't know, I should probably like 3 or something like that. But it was cute. And then my foe is Yuki's downfall. I just can't anymore.
I know, it's frustrating.
I can't anymore. And I'm just so tired of it. And I'm like, can you put him back in the Red Bull or in the B carb now? Like,
yeah, my foe is Franco. I'm just like,
oh yeah,
just all of that stuff. It's like such a bummer and such a cloud over everything. And I'm just not one who likes not knowing things. So it's like, I just don't like silly season rumors and stuff. I just want to know.
I did hear a rumor that Cadillac is potentially interested in Yuki.
Okay.
So I also, though, part of me was like, I would, if it's like, okay, F1 is, done for Yuki, like I would love him in IndyCar. And can you imagine if he was an Air McLaren driver?
That'd be fun.
I would love that.
That would be really fun.
I would love that. So he also,
that's a lot of energy
in his,
on one team.
He did a clip with the red flags and they were doing like the movie, like what would your movie be like if you started an F1 movie, and he brought up Ana de Armas. So
I literally thought the exact same thing. I was like,
oh wow, fight.
Yeah, but Yuki knows Jason Statham, who I imagine can get to Ana de Armas a lot quicker than maybe some of Pato's friends. Although I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
But like, it could be really beneficial for whoever.
Totally. So
isn't Ana de Armas with Tom Cruise right now?
Apparently.
Yeah. So I don't know. It might.
Which is weird.
Not sure that she's gonna make a move there, but
anything's possible.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to some of your guys' questions. So a lot of questions about Oscar's penalty. Was it deserved? Was it not deserved? My belief is penalty was deserved. Maybe not a 10-second, but I don't think you can break that aggressively. I just think that was too much breaking.
Yeah.
And it could be dangerous. So
yeah, at first I thought it was really harsh. And I'm not saying that the 10-second part was correct or not correct, but when you broke down the difference in speed, like how much he braked, that's crazy.
It's a lot.
And really dangerous.
Yeah, it's a lot. And yeah, these, again, like,
I mean, he could have ruined his race and Max, whatever. And like, obviously I love Max, but like he could have ruined the race for himself. I mean, he did, I guess, but he could have like been out.
Yep. And these are the kinds of things. It's just like, these are the 7-point swings either way that just add up over time. And you gotta lock in, Osk. Lock in.
That's my lock.
I do think his sister was there.
Oh yeah, the red flag's got a picture with her.
So that's tough for her. But anyway,
that's all right.
That's okay. Okay. Rookie Hunger Games. Yeah, it kind of was Rookie.
Rookie Hunger Games.
Like, and Ollie won.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we
I gotta
have?
be fair. I love Ollie, but I wouldn't have if we were
either.
doing a ranking of some kind. I wouldn't have picked Ollie in that.
I definitely
I would have probably picked Isaac.
But Isaac
Kimmy.
has struggled like in the Australia race where it was raining too. That's when he got out in the formation lap. So sometimes he kind of struggles there.
Well, that was his first race, huh?
That was his first
God
race.
bless him.
Crying.
I love him so much.
Anthony
him
Hamilton.
and Yuki are just, I love them.
That's what I'm saying.
Any reunion they have just makes me so happy.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. What
in
else?
hindsight, I think it's so crazy that we almost did our hot lap with Isaac.
This is crazy.
Now, to be fair, we've said this before, I just remembered it, but at the time it needed to be Frankie because we just didn't know how much we'd love Isaac.
Like we wouldn't have appreciated it fully.
However, if anyone's listening. And
well, Isaac's not going to do him now.
I know. But I would take Valtteri.
Yeah.
Or Frankie again. We're such good friends.
We are such good friends. Who would have ever thought?
Not me. I was talking to someone about this the other day. I think a coworker of mine like brought it up. We were talking about he just moved to Charlotte, so we were talking about NASCAR and stuff, and I was like, we have to go see Frankie in like a truck race or something, and he was like, I still can't believe that happened. I'm like, you can't believe it happened. Like the 8-year-old version of me is screaming forever.
I know.
Agent Cody Banks.
I know. So it all works out in the end. It's all meant to be. To be honest with you, there are so one person, this is a good,
there's no other questions.
a lot of them were like, talk about Nico, talk about the 10-second penalty, which we have already done. But someone asked, should Oscar be publicly more praising of Lando, or do they just have different personalities?
I think they have different personalities, and I think also in today's, I don't think he's bad at it. Again, to me this is like such a goldfish memory thing with this sport. It's like I think he does a good job of praising Lando, but today he was just not in the headspace to praise anyone but Nico.
Right. Well, and I also think too, there's a difference between like, in Oscar's mind, I'm speaking from Oscar's perspective, there's a difference between praising your teammate who has like had who is, you were maybe fighting for P5, P6, and your teammate has had a great race. But in Oscar's mind, he's thinking, I lost that race.
Yeah, right.
I was the reason I lost that race.
Yeah.
So he's not in the mindset to be like, congratulations to Lando, when in his head he's thinking, Lando won because I lost it for myself.
Yeah, because I mean, in fairness, and we'll never know, but I don't think you could say like Lando had the better drive today.
Right.
It's and he might have.
He did because he didn't have the mistake.
Well, no, I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, from Oscar's perspective, had we not had the mistake and the penalty,
right.
I don't think he could say that with integrity, maybe. Like, I don't know if that's something he would believe, so I don't know if it's something he would say.
Exactly.
But I think overall he does a fine job of...
I think Oscar was just not in a great mood, to be totally honest. And he might reflect and have a, different feeling about it in a couple hours or a couple days, and probably, hopefully... And I hope he does celebrate Lando's win. I hope he is there for, like, the celebration and everything, but... It's also really hard. That's the hard thing about Formula One is like if you don't win, it's like what other sport, if you don't win, you're like, you have to then like be there to celebrate, the person who did.
Yeah.
Because he's your teammate. Like that is just a crazy thing.
It is.
So anyway, anything else about the race before we end it?
Another lovely Silverstone. Can't wait to do it again next year.
Can't wait to do it again next year. If you went to Silverstone, if you had a great time, looked a little wet, it was wet obviously, but that's I mean, I think in hindsight it'd be kind of fun. Obviously it's probably not that fun in the moment, but to be able to say like, I was at Silverstone, it was raining, like you were in the elements, like it's a real
bonding experience.
It's a real race,
and you saw history being made.
You did see history being made.
Maybe it's not the history you wanted to see, but you saw it.
It's the history you got.
Yeah. And that's just how the cookie crumbles.
That's just how the cookie crumbles. And you know what? Someday, things will fall in my favor. Like, things will work out for me.
Yeah, they will.
And they will. Like, I just have to believe that they will.
They will.
And I'll keep saying it until
keep
the end
faith.
of time. And just, like, they will.
Yeah.
So,
amen.
That's where...
You're a lucky girl.
That's where I am on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, I think we got some feedback that at least some people want us to potentially do an F1 movie review or something. So we might do like a split episode, like F1 movie talk, and then also like maybe F1 news if there's news to talk about. Or we're gonna have to, and we can talk about this offline, but we're gonna have to pre-record an episode because I'm gonna be gone in a couple weeks, and so we're gonna have to double up. So I was thinking we could also do like which F1 driver is most likely to.
Oh, yeah.
So we can kind of figure out how we're going to put it all together. But go on if you're interested. Like, I'll probably post a question box on our Instagram this week for both questions about the F1 movie, and then also if we decide to do which F1 driver is most likely to, probably ask for those questions as well. So if you want to contribute to that, please feel free on our Instagram. If you have any other ideas for things you want us to talk about, DM us. We're always,
Yeah. And any
open.
Future co-host suggestions you'd like to throw out there too. I feel like I asked that on a previous episode, but we're going to be needing some co-hosts coming up to substitute. So
exactly. All right, guys. Thank you for listening, watching, whatever you did, and we'll see you next time.
Enchanté.